The happiest night of my life turned into a nightmare in less than 10 seconds, and the person who destroyed everything wasn't a stranger. My name is Sarah, and I was 28 years old when my life split into two parts before that night and after it. Everything was perfect. No, actually it felt too perfect. The wedding hall was glowing with warm lights. Music filled the air, people laughing, clapping, celebrating. And in the middle of it all, and there I was, standing in my white dress, holding Leon's hand. Leon Archer, my husband. Even saying that felt unreal. He looked at me like I was the only person in the world, like nothing else mattered. "Are you happy?" he whispered softly. I smiled, trying not to cry. Happy? We had fought for this moment, years of ups and downs. Late night talks, silly arguments, big dreams, and now we made it. "I'm more than happy," I whispered back. Our families surrounded us, my mom wiping tears, his parents smiling like they'd won something priceless, cameras flashing, laughter echoing. Everything felt right, but looking back now, that feeling, it scares me, because sometimes when everything feels perfect, it means something terrible is about to happen. After the ceremony, we stayed for hours. Photos, cake, friends. Leon didn't leave my side even for a second. At one point, he leaned closer and said quietly, "Let's go. I want you all to myself now." I laughed. "Already?" he smirked. "I've waited long enough." And just like that, we left. It was late. The roads were quiet. Streetlights stretched into long golden lines. I rested my head on his shoulder. "Can you believe we're married?" I whispered. He kissed my forehead gently. "I believed it the moment I met you." I closed my eyes, smiling, safe, calm, loved. And then a loud horn. Blinding headlights and crash. Everything exploded, glass shattered. Metal screamed. My body jerked forward so violently I couldn't even react. I didn't scream, I couldn't. And then darkness. When I opened my eyes again, nothing made sense. Everything was blurry. Voices, distant, machines beeping. Someone crying. My body felt heavy, like it didn't belong to me. I tried to move. Pain shot through me like fire. "Don't move," someone said. I blinked slowly. White ceiling, bright hospital lights. I was alive. But something was wrong, very wrong. My heart started racing. "Leon," I whispered. No answer. I tried again. "Leon, where is he?" Silence. I looked around and then I saw my mother, standing in the corner, crying. My father couldn't even look at me. That's when the fear hit me, hard. "Where is my husband?" I asked again, my voice shaking. No one answered. Tears filled my eyes. "Tell me, please." My mother walked toward me, her hands trembling as she held mine. And in that moment, before she even spoke, I knew. I just knew. Her voice broke. "He didn't make it." Everything inside me shattered. "No," I whispered. No. Now this isn't real." But it was. Leon was gone. On our wedding night, just like that. I don't remember how long I cried. Hours, maybe days. My chest hurt. My head spun, but none of it compared to what I felt inside. It was like my heart had been ripped out, and I was still somehow breathing. Days passed, then more days. Nothing changed. The hospital room felt like a prison. My body slowly healed, but inside I was completely broken. Everywhere I looked, I saw him. His smile, his voice, his touch. Gone forever. People came to visit, family, friends. They all said the same thing. It was an accident. Be strong. Time will heal, but they were wrong, because some things don't heal. Then 1 week later, everything changed again. The police came. They said they had caught the truck driver, the man who destroyed my life. And for the first time since the accident, I felt something different. Not just pain, not just grief, something darker. I needed answers. Why, I asked, why did this happen to us? The officer looked at me, serious. And then he said something that made my stomach drop. This might not be an accident. And in that moment, a cold, terrifying feeling crept into my chest, because deep down I knew this story was far from over. The happiest night of my life turned into a nightmare in less than 10 seconds, and the person behind it was not a stranger. My name is Sarah. I was 28 years old, and that night changed everything. Everything felt perfect, too perfect. The hall was full of lights, music, laughter, people smiling, clapping, celebrating. And in the middle of it all, there I was, standing in my white dress, holding his hand. "Leon Archer, my husband, are you happy?" I smiled, trying not to cry. "I am more than happy. We fought for this moment, years of love, arguments, dreams, and finally we made it." Our family stood around us, my mother crying, his parents smiling. Everything felt right, but looking back now, that feeling scares me. Because sometimes when everything feels perfect, something terrible is about to happen. We stayed for hours taking photos, cutting cake, laughing with friends. Leon stayed with me the whole time. Then he said, "Let us go. I want you to myself." I laughed and said, "Already?" He smiled and said, "I have waited long enough." We left. It was late and the roads were quiet. Streetlights stretched far into the distance. I rested my head on his shoulder and whispered, "Can you believe we are married?" He kissed my forehead and said, "I believed it from the start." I smiled, closed my eyes, feeling safe, calm, and loved. And then everything changed. A loud horn, bright headlights, and then a crash. Everything broke apart. Glass everywhere, metal screaming. My body jerked hard. I could not scream. Then darkness. When I opened my eyes, everything was unclear. Voices, beeping sounds, someone crying. My body felt heavy. I tried to move, but a sharp pain stopped me. Someone said, "Do not move." I blinked and saw a white ceiling and hospital lights. I was alive, but something felt very wrong. My heart started racing. "Leon." No answer. "Leon, where is he?" Silence. I looked around and saw my mother crying and my father looking away. Fear started growing inside me. "Where is my husband?" No answer. "Please tell me." My mother came closer, her hands shaking. And before she even spoke, I knew. He did not make it. No, this is not real. But it was real. Leon was gone that same night. I cried until I completely broke. Days passed, but nothing changed. My body slowly healed, but inside I was destroyed. Everywhere I looked, I saw him. His smile, his voice. Gone forever. People visited and told me to be strong. They said it was an accident and time will heal. But they were wrong. Some pain never heals. 1 week later, the police came. They said they had caught the driver, the man who destroyed my life. For the first time, I felt something different. Not just pain, but something darker. I needed answers. Why did this happen? The officer looked at me seriously and said, "This might not be an accident." In that moment, I knew this was not over. The next day, they came again and said the driver is in custody. I asked, "Can I see him?" They said, "Not yet." I asked, "Why?" They said he is not cooperating. My hands tightened. My husband is dead and he is silent. That night, I could not sleep. The crash kept replaying again and again. I needed to know the truth. The next morning, everything changed. They said he is ready to talk. I went in a wheelchair. The station felt cold and heavy. They opened the door, and I saw him, the driver, bruised and hurt. But his eyes had no regret, only fear. I said, "Start talking." At first, there was silence. Then he said, "I am not just a driver." The room went still. He said, "I do jobs for money." I asked, "What jobs?" He paused and said, "I kill people." My heart dropped. This was not an accident. I asked, "Was this planned?" He said, "Yes." Tears filled my eyes. He said, "I was given instructions, car, route, timing. This was planned. Someone wanted me dead." I asked who, but there was no answer. Days passed, weeks passed, and still no answers. The case slowed down. But one person did not stop, Leon's father. He said, "I will find the truth no matter what." Then one day he called everyone, family, relatives, my sister. The room felt heavy and silent. He said, "I found him, the contractor." Everyone waited. Then he said, "The one who gave the order is in this room." Days passed after the interrogation, but nothing felt normal. Every moment felt heavy, because now I knew this was not an accident. Someone planned it. Someone wanted me dead. The police tried everything, tracing numbers, checking records, following leads, like chasing a ghost. The contractor disappeared. Then Leon's father acted. He was determined. He would not stop. He used contacts, private investigators, people who could find anything. Days later, he called everyone, my parents, his parents, close relatives, my sister. The room felt heavy, too quiet, like something terrible was coming. My hands clenched, my heart racing, I could feel it. Leon's father walked in his face, cold, unreadable. "I found him," he said. "The contractor?" I asked, he nodded, he talked. Everyone leaned forward, waiting. Then Leon's father said, "The person who gave the order is in this room." A wave of shock hit us. People looked at each other, confused and scared. My heart pounded, I could feel it in my chest. "No," I whispered, "this is impossible." Leon's father stepped forward. They traced everything, calls, money, meetings. No doubt proof was clear. Then he turned and his eyes stopped on her, my sister. My body froze, time slowed down. No one spoke. She tried to deny it. No, this is a lie, she said quickly. Leon's father was calm but deadly. You think I would say this without proof, he said. My father stepped forward, angry, confused. What is going on? Leon's father looked straight at my sister. Say it. Silence, then a small, cold smile. Yes, she said. I did it. The room exploded with shock. My mother rushed forward. Slap, how could you, she cried. My father, shaking with anger. I raised you better than this. What is wrong with you? But my sister did not cry, did not react. She looked at me. In her eyes, something dark, something broken. You really don't know, she said quietly. Since childhood, always you were the favorite. Everyone loved you more, good grades, good friends, a perfect life. And me, I was always in your shadow. Her voice bitter, laughing. You got everything easily. And then she looked at me. You got him the perfect husband, rich, kind, loving. And me, what did I have? Nothing. She stepped closer. The room silent, so I decided, she said slowly, if I cannot have that life. Her eyes locked on mine, then neither can you. My legs weak. So you plan to kill me? I whispered. I plan to take everything from you, she replied. Tears streamed down my face. I wanted both of you gone, she said. You and him. Those words destroyed me completely. Leon's father stepped forward, his face calm but deadly. Because of you, my son is dead, he said slowly. I will never forgive you, and you will remember this. The police arrived, handcuffs. She did not resist. As they took her away, I just stood there crying, broken, empty. Days later, court gave final decision, life imprisonment. Justice was served, but nothing felt right. Leon was gone, my life shattered, and the person who did this was my own sister. And no matter how much time passes, that truth will always haunt me.